there's certain things you keep in your pockets when you're working. One's a tissue in case you get sweaty, a red pen because if you have to write a quick note to your staff, and a cloth to clean glasses. I was like, what? And then he explains, like, people are driving to see, they're rushing out of work, they have to do all this, and sometimes their glasses are dirty, but they have to take them off when they go face down. When you sit them up, you take your cloth, clean their glasses, and give it to them. There you go. And I was like, that makes me feel special. I'm not wearing my glasses right now, but it's the little things that add up.
What's the key to creating a practice where patients feel truly cared for? For Dr. Gravely, it's about authenticity, empathy, and a true desire to help people. In this episode, we dive into his philosophy on patient care, the importance of building strong relationships, and how he's been able to create a practice that's both fulfilling and successful. Get ready to be inspired, and let's dive in.
I got roasted really bad.
You did? At Joe Rogan?
It was the bottom of the barrel, so audience members write like a topic, everyone puts it in the barrel. Comedians pull random topics out and they go off the cuff, but your name's written on it. So if they have a question about what your topic is, they call you out. And they found out I was Brazilian, I was a chiropractor, and so then here goes all the chiropractic jokes. I'm like, fuck.
Any good ones?
They just were like talking shit about like, they don't even go to school and blah, 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 blah. Like, well, I've heard that before. School's really hard. I had to learn how to study properly. That was fun. But yeah, the topics, they just go like off the cuff and just random. But yeah, Brian Simpson, he's the one that runs it. And he's just so very intelligent and very well spoken. And he just goes all the way around full circle and obliterates you.
So were you like on stage when this was happening?
No. You sit in your chair and stuff.
Did they just call you out?
Mm-hmm. And then like, who's this? I'm like,
Did your name have anything to do with it? Because you have a very unique name.
Yeah, they couldn't say it, so I had to say it out loud. So then because I said my name, it was like, there he is. And then the next comedian said something to say about Brazil too. And I was like, fuck. But it was fun. It's always fun.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably an easy person to pick on because there's so many.
Pretty easy. I'll give you that. Yeah. I have targets everywhere.
Well, welcome to the show, man. Thanks for doing this.
Of course.
Where I'd like to start is a soccer injury and how that kind of shaped your practice here that you do now today. Mind sharing that story?
Yeah, I was playing soccer professionally in Brazil after undergraduate, and I was in the gym in the off season and I had bad form. And the trainer told my family member that I was staying with, yeah, he doesn't look good right now with the form. A few weeks later, I'm in Sao Paulo trying to catch a bus to the next trial and carrying all my suitcases. The next day, I felt like a bug bite, which progressed to sciatica. And then I would lean to one side, then it shifted to the other leg, so then I shifted to the other way. So even on my ID, it says I'm 6'2". I'm actually 6'4". Because when I came back to the States after I had to quit, started working for my old chiropractor, and he started adjusting me a specific way. And my back was so messed up that I gained 2 inches.
What? How is that? Oh, I get it, because they straightened it out so you got taller.
Yeah, because I had to lean this way, then that way to compensate for pain. So when you lean away from pain, that's a posterior lateral disc bulge. So I had a bad herniation at L5S1, L4, L5. And yeah, it was sharp shooting, dull aching numbness, tingling down the feet. Miserable. It sucked.
How long did it take to correct that?
So like in the first month, I was able to stand up and walk for 5-10 minutes without having to stop and sit down. And then about 3 months later, kind of normal, still some pain, but it took about a full year to recover from all that. And then I just kept at it 3 times a week, 4 times a week, just so I didn't screw it up. And now I can do anything. I play pickleball, play some soccer, run if I want to. If I want to stand, I can stand without feeling like a grandpa. But yeah, I mean, chiropractic saved me then. And then when I was a kid, I had a back pain, and I knew back pain was just for old people. And then I started seeing a chiropractor, and spring rolls around. Usually I die with allergies, but all the allergies didn't affect me. The pollen didn't affect me. And I was just kind of curious. So I asked him, and he's like, yeah, this controls this system. This controls that system because we're restoring natural function and your posture is improving. Pressure on the nerves aren't there anymore like they used to be. So now you can be more efficient. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And that progressed down the road to other injuries that chiropractic helped me with.
Why were you always going to chiropractor? How come you didn't go to like a primary or something? What was it about chiropractor?
I did the whole allergy shot stuff, and I don't like shots.
Just anybody?
I hope not.
But I love shots. No,
I did acupuncture. Acupuncture is really cool. That helped me a lot. I had a sweaty armpit situation in high school, and my acupuncturist, he's South Korean, and I was like, can it help with sweaty pits? Oh yeah, please, face down. I was like, okay. One session, no more yellow pit stains, no more hyperhidrosis or sweaty armpits. And then as I left the office, he's like, drink warm temperature of water. I was like, okay. Didn't listen to that part, but the sweatiness got way better. And then
did you say warm temperature water?
Room temperature.
Room temperature. That's what you're supposed to do?
That's what he told me. But I played club soccer in Texas, and my jug is cold. It's too hot out there, but it was weird. It was interesting. And
so when did you know you wanted to be a chiro? The second time when you were getting the soccer injury?
I think it was always plan B. I always wanted to like fulfill my childhood dream to be a pro athlete. I achieved that. Didn't last long, but
because of the injury?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
But now I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm very happy. I love what I do. Can't complain. Learned a lot. But yeah, I wouldn't wish the worst pain that I dealt with on my worst enemy. So I think that's what also gets me out of bed pretty easily. Knowing that there's someone else that wants some answers, doesn't know where to go. A lot of people go to all these primary care physicians, PT, what have you, and they're all good in their own right. But usually I'm the last one. And then it's, I need help. Can you help me? Yeah, let's go. Let's take some pictures. Let's see where the areas of stress are on the spine. Let's remove that stress, and let's let the body heal itself. And that's what I do every day. It's fun.
So, yeah, it's been more and more interesting to me as I talk to more and more chiropractors on the show lately about just how I feel like society's in a lot of ways finally catching up to something we've always kind of known in terms of the body's ability to heal and not this necessary need for the drugs, the surgery. Don't get me wrong, there's always a place for these things. There's always exceptions to everything and in all occasions. But yeah, it's just been interesting to see as people have less trust in the primary general healthcare system, they're in a lot of ways gravitating towards chiropractic care.
Yeah, they want answers.
Yeah.
They want results, most importantly. And in some aspects of medical, the way the medical system is going, people are catching up to the fraud behind the scenes. They don't want to be on opioids. They don't want to be on painkillers. They don't want to be on antidepressants. This week, this guy has been coming in 28 visits now. And he just turned to me, he's like, I'm actually smiling again. So with chiropractic, you allow the body to fully express itself the way it should. Things start going back to equilibrium. Things start functioning. The hormones that are secreted, the right amount is happening. So the mood's better. And every time someone comes in, I shake their hand. If they leave, if I have good rapport with them, I give them a hug. That's oxytocin, that's connection. They feel better. And I learned long ago, most people that come to your office feel better before they even get there. And the reason is because you stand for something. They know what they're going to get. So that's what I try to deliver on everybody. And in my office, it's a closed door system. So one person at a time. We see quite a bit, but it's one spine at a time. And people come from you, not to you. So if your heart's in the right place, you generate that energy that helps expedite the healing process. So I see pretty cool results on a daily basis. And every day is an adventure. Every day. But you smile and you just move on.
So take me back to Brazil then. So you I mean, what were you doing even prior to leading up to chiropractic care? Like, did you know you wanted to open your own practice? Did you even have any inclinations of having your own business? Like, take me back to Brazil a little bit.
Yeah, the irony is, before I went to Brazil, went with my mom to dinner with one of her Brazilian friends who had a gay partner. He was a chiropractor. And I was on the fence of like, do I go? Do I stay? And he just looked at me and was like, dude, chiropractic school is always going to be there. Go chase your dreams. The worst that can happen is you fail, and then you come back and you go to school. When I got hurt, I found a chiropractor in Sao Paulo. Well, one, I was about to quit completely pro soccer. I threw in the towel. My godfather, he was a Brazilian. He was the Brazilian national team goalie coach. And he calls me. He's like, I got a trial for you. I was like, I can't walk. So he's like, okay, so you're going to go to Sao Paulo, find a chiropractor. You got 2 days, get on the bus, go try. I'm like, dude, you didn't hear me? I can't walk right now. I'm miserable. I already got accepted in the chiropractic school. He's like, okay, cool. So you're going to go to Sao Paulo, find a chiropractor. You got 2 days, and you're going to go. And then I said it again, and he stopped me. He's like, you're going to go. You don't have a choice. If you make it, you fulfill your childhood dream. And if you fail, you tried. But don't just quit, because you don't know what's going to happen. Worst case scenario, you go be a chiropractor like you already think you're going to be. The one I found in Brazil was friends with the same chiro that night at dinner that told me to go chase my dream. I was like, holy shit. That was pretty full circle. But when I came back, I was like in the best shape of my life. I was 184 pounds. I had no butt, skinny as a twig, but I could barely walk. So I'd faked the injury as long as I could. And then it was just so bad. I couldn't even lift my leg up. That's how I got caught. Just a simple little warm up. They gave me a steroid shot like on the field. Didn't do anything. I did PT for 2 weeks. Didn't help me. It was only taking the pressure off my nervous system that allowed me to regain function over time.
How long were you in pain? Like, how long was this lasting?
Oh, Lord. Long time. I'd say while I was in Brazil, it was about 4 to 6 months of pain, and just got slowly worse and worse and worse and worse.
And you were just riding it out because like you wanted to play soccer that bad.
And if you get caught with the injury while you're trying out for a team, there are some sneaky people. If they catch that you're like limping, they'll tell someone, hey, he's hurt. They're not going to sign you if you're hurt. It's like when you do a physical, like with the Luka Doncic and the Anthony Davis trade. I think Anthony Davis almost like failed the medical, maybe. I might be wrong on that. But they won't sign you. So then you're also going up against men. I was 22, but these are guys with 3 kids, 2 kids, a wife. They will throw you under the bus in a heartbeat.
Are you still living out that childhood dream in other ways now then?
In regards to like, I think like professionally?
Anyway,
Sports
that you're maybe playing now, or even like taking that competitive nature. Because I think the sports is always a great training ground for life. I mean, you hear about it all the time. Like I remember learning there was actually I don't remember what company it was, but they were very specific about hiring athletes for like sales positions because they're innately just competitive people and they want to win. So they didn't care what their skills were because they could train them sales, but they were like, they hired athletes for that reason specifically.
Because of determination and all that?
For sure.
Yeah, I think from my experience, just because I was a goalie, so you have to see the whole picture. You have to organize. And as a business owner, there's a lot on your plate with organization. We have 2 offices, so there's communication at office 1 and office 2. And if there's a gap in communication, then it doesn't work in unison. So yeah, I think those little lessons learned And experiences have definitely molded a different perspective that I have that maybe other chiropractors don't. But it's definitely helped me stay more goal oriented. We look at numbers. How can we improve here? What are we missing? What's lacking? Is it the energy? Is it something going on personal?
When did you know that you wanted to open your own practice?
Probably right away, because I was working for my chiropractor as a middle school kid. I did like his landscaping, worked at his office, or like cleaning his pool. I hate that, but it was the jobs I didn't want to do, but
so wait, you worked for your chiropractor that was treating you?
My first one.
Oh, okay.
So this is like, it started when I was like 13.
And so he owned his own practice and you're like, I want to do that someday.
Yeah. So like he had a nice small office, a cute little house in a safe neighborhood. I go to college, summertime, you need a job. So I asked him, I was like, hey, can I get my old job back? He's like, yeah. But we moved. We live here now, plot of land.
Where was this exactly?
In Colleyville, Texas.
Okay.
And great chiropractor. He's still practicing today. But his little office, he bought land and built a massive mausoleum of a health center. I think at one point he was seeing 8 to 1,000 a week.
Himself?
And then he brought on someone else. So that guy kind of took some of the burden off some of the patients, but it was a very well-oiled machine. So I saw the growth financially. Him and his wife had 2 kids. I saw the kids grow up. I was like, okay, there's familial, there's financial positives to this, but also look how many people he's helping. That's pretty cool. And to me, as a teenager, it just made sense. I hate allergies. I hate not being able to breathe when I'm running after a ball or something like that, or diving here and there and just.
Do you have the cedar issue? Is that?
I did. I don't.
Huh.
So we had a tournament. This is pre my first adjustment. I think I was 12, and we had a San Antonio tournament, and my body just shut down. I couldn't get out of the hotel bed. It was just like, I got hit by a truck. That's what it felt like. Unbeknownst to me, it was cedar fever. So when people are like, oh, my allergies are here. Well, I got a trick for you. There's points in the ear that you can stimulate that will help with asthma, allergies. There's points that can calm you down. There's points that can stimulate you and get you excited too. One of my favorite ones is Insomnia 1, Insomnia 2. It's on the back of the ear. You hit those 2, the patient goes to sleep way easier. And then I remember my first auto accident case. It's a big Hispanic guy, and he has gloves on his hands, and he's not getting better with adjusting. I'm like, hey, we're going to try something different. But I need your gloves off because there's points that correlate to shoulder healing. He takes off one glove, MS, takes off the other, 13.
Oh, nice.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I just opened, and I have a gangster. But he has a spine, he needs help. But one session, he comes in the next day, and he's all smiling. He never smiles. He's like, I finally was able to sleep. And look, he just raises his arm like this. I was like, whoa. Good, Antonio. Please don't kill me, man.
Don't move so fast. Slow down.
Yeah. He every adjustment after that, I was like, are you okay? No, but he was a cool dude. But that was a very interesting story for sure. Especially.
Do you have entrepreneurship in your family at all?
My aunt owns her own vet clinic in Brazil.
Okay, cool.
And I had an Uncle Bob that he would have all these random ventures. Like he had a knife sharpening company. He used to sell pianos at one point. He would just play the piano and people would just buy it. I think that's really it that I can think of.
Where did you get your business chops then? Was it the chiro in your town, or who was it?
I think seeing growth and success. And I always wanted to have a job, but I was too young because you had to be 16.
You always wanted to have a job?
Yeah, because I didn't we weren't wealthy by any means, but we were happy because I come from a single mother household. So I saw my mom struggle. I never wanted to struggle like that. She would work 2 jobs, have to drive to Dallas, which is like an hour from where we were living at the time for club soccer. So it's an hour there, hour back, 6 days a week, 2 jobs at some points during my middle school, high school years. But I just saw the struggle. I didn't want to struggle. And then when I decided to play pro soccer, my mom's like, what are you doing? You're going to struggle. Go to school. Like, no. I was very stubborn also. But I'm glad I went the way I did. The path I took allowed me to learn a lot of lessons. It allowed me to be more disciplined.
What was your undergrad?
I did a bachelor's of science in psychology with a biology minor. And that was fun. I liked how the mind thinks. A lot of good professors at the school I went to. And a lot of good experiences. Biology was a little tough, but that's definitely a prerequisite that led me to understand more about the human body too, towards my chiropractic journey.
So did you open your practice straight out of school then?
Not straight out of school. I worked for my acupuncturist I used to go to in the beginning because I had to retake some board examinations. And then right when I passed my boards, that's when I moved and was able to get a line of credit through a bank with the help of someone turned me on a score mentor. And then it's a free service. Basically, people who have done things in business, you just click this button, select a question, type your question out. Within a week or two, someone reaches out to you. You ask all the questions you want. It's free. And they guided me to the right bank that was chiropractic friendly. And from there, that's how I was able to get financing to start my practice. Then I moved to Austin, and then the rest is history.
Yeah, because you worked for a while as you were waiting for your practice to open, correct?
Yeah. So one of the big lessons I learned, once you get the money, don't touch it. It's only for the business to create it, but I was using it to live off of, like pay rent so I could have a roof over my head, meals. If I was meeting someone for a networking event or coffee, it was that money. You get a job, you don't touch that money. And because I was losing the money for the office to build it, because every city's a little different, but in Austin, if you see a property, it may be gone in a month or a week. So you got to jump on things. But I ended up working for the Joint, which in school always had a negative idea about the Joint and places like that because it's a different style. But every style has its purpose. And I learned a lot working there. And the guys that owned it were really cool. They're both chiropractors. I'll randomly talk to them like once a year or something, just like hey, what's up? But from that experience, I was able to fine tune my approach with patient care because it's a different system. So you have to get them to commit to care right away. And they already have preconceived notions of, I just want a quick fix and this and that. There was one guy that came in and he got lockjaw from a dental procedure. I think it was just cleaning his teeth. But you can't have a consultation because he can't talk. So you got to be creative. Like, all right, jaw's not moving, we're moving that jaw. Boom. It sounded like a shotgun. And then he's like, oh, thank you so much. Because he could finally move. But he was like, pretty far-fetched seeing it because in school you don't see too many wild cases like that. But the lockjaw, instant relief. Do I remember if he did care? I don't know. I don't remember. But he could talk. But in the consultation, he couldn't say a word, obviously. But you'll see things like that. And with that system, you can go to any franchise in the nation.
Why did you decide to like build a clinic versus just like renting space or doing mobile or something of that nature? Like, why did you want to get financing to quote unquote like build a clinic?
Because I had in school you learn things, but outside of school you learn more things. And one thing I learned, because when I was an undergraduate, I was just focused on pro soccer. But all my classmates, I would hear them like, oh, I already have an internship at so-and-so, or I got a job at Vandy doing research or blah, blah. I was like, how'd y'all get that? oh, we did this, this, and this. And they went outside of the school, sought out other mentors. So when I graduated, I didn't have any of that. I was just going to play pro soccer because I knew everything. So from that lesson, when I got to chiropractic school, I searched out anyone I could get my hands on to just ask questions, or if I could kind of shout at your office, can you adjust me? I want to see different approaches. So I started seeing different variations, and what led me down the path of, I could do this. It might be a little scary, but I can do it. Just got to figure it out. So you just keep asking questions. That's what led me to Find Square Mentor and all those resources. And then, man, I left school with, I couldn't even tell you how many mentors I have. I can call anyone on my phone, ask a question, they'd help me out. So I try to do the same thing for students that came after me, because I've been there. Let me save you a few steps. This is what I did. Don't do that. Do this. Because there's so many people out there that need what we have to offer. And it's so disrespectful for me to hold someone back if I know the answers. Don't step over there. There's a hole. Walk around this way. Let me show you my path. Don't go that way. Come this way. So going back to the whole full circle, you just want to help people. And I've always wanted to help people. Like when I was in school, I was a coach for goalkeepers at my old club soccer team. And that was just fun. But you got to see growth and talent and like, do this drill, do that drill. And you just want to cultivate a community of well-being, well-minded, because you see a bunch of different things. But as push comes to shove, it's just, what is my purpose? And I learned really quickly that my purpose is to serve people, get people well, and make sure they don't get sick. So just dealing with what I did growing up, the asthma, allergies, shin splints, metabolism issues, headaches, fatigue. I don't want anyone to deal with that. Everyone has a different purpose to fulfill in life, and the world's a better place if they can serve or do whatever they can at their full potential. And that's what chiropractic is.
So, but back to that question then. So, but why did you decide to build a clinic versus like rent space or do mobile or something of that?
Oh, so my office, I do rent the spot. I'd love to buy.
Because you got financing to open the clinic, correct? Mm-hmm. So then was that financing to be able to lease it or to actually build the clinic?
To lease the unit, but I can build out.
Got it.
But if something happens, they keep everything, which kind of sucks, but nothing's going to happen as long as I keep going. But yeah, they own everything if I can't make rent or whatever, but we do okay.
How did you get your first patients initially, like when you opened the practice?
I learned real quick, the more people you meet and greet, the more you treat. So I just went out with business cards. If I went to like Starbucks, I'd leave my business card. If I just went to a restaurant, just got a glass of water, I'd leave my business card. Meals, networking groups. I attended every BNI in my vicinity because, one, it's free. But what's unfortunate for my situation at the time is each one already had a chiropractor there. So I couldn't really give my spiel, but I can meet them after the meeting's over. Then I'd find another group, and then I'd do, hey, do you want to go get some coffee? And let's see how we can help each other out. So one thing I did was set a goal of every day do 3 meetings of some kind. That didn't last too long because I was burning myself out and I got real sick just because I'm exhausting energy, going here, going there, going there. So then you fine tune a little bit and you stick to, all right, network after work is really good because you pay for a drink ticket. There's all these other people relatively your age that are in some kind of business of some sort. And then you just start mingling, asking questions like, hey, do you know an attorney that does auto cases? I'd love to meet them, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like a snowflake that gets on a leaf and there's another snowflake, more snowflakes. And at the end of it, the leaf falls down and it creates an avalanche. And it's just a friend of mine, when I was really freaking out in the beginning, he's like, you're like a Jeep stuck in mud. the wheels are spinning, but you got to keep spinning because you're going to get out, but you don't know when, but you got to keep going. And then it just makes sense at some point. But yeah.
It's a good analogy. So then moving forward then, so, okay, you got the networking effect going, probably getting word of mouth. How did you find more sustainable forms of growth that didn't fully rely on just referrals?
More sustainable. One, word of mouth is always the best because it's backed by trust. I'm not a big gimmick guy. I don't like falling for those either. But in the beginning, I got to network with a bunch of healthcare providers. So like that helps because when they search, you show up, you're close by, cool. That can also lead to a word of mouth referral moving forward. I tried to meet as many attorneys as I could. Say, hey, if I get a patient, I'll send them to you. Let's work together. Let's build a good relationship. And that's manifested to a lot of good situations down the road after 8 years in practice. I got involved with HAM, which is a Musicians Alliance here. One of the big reasons I moved to Austin is because of, one, the nightlife is fun, the city's fun, there's nature, but also the music. The music is something, I can't play anything, but I enjoy music. So when I saw the HAM organization, I was like, how do I get involved? And it took me about maybe 2-3 years for them to finally get me in their network. But it's really nice seeing like, okay, there's this musician, and they were the lifeblood of the city. And it's just unfortunate they're kind of getting moved out just because of gentrification and like how Austin's changed so much in the last 10-15 years. But the program is so nice. They have other providers like dentists, PTs, but it's really gratifying knowing that, hey, I saw you at the elephant room. Let me help you out. And you can help them out at a rate that they can afford because it's hit or miss for most musicians here in town.
Did you ever get involved with the Austin FC?
I attempted to in the beginning because they were the Columbus Crew, and the Columbus Crew were about to move to Austin, but then the Cleveland Browns bought them out. So they were able to build a stadium in downtown. So the Columbus Crew stayed, but half the back staff still ended up coming to Austin. So I actually reached out to people in the higher ups of Austin FC. Like, hey, I'm a chiropractor. I'd love to be your team doctor, blah, blah, blah. And then I met this person, that person. Then I was in the process of fulfilling that goal because I thought that'd be awesome because I did it for the Austin Bold when they were here for the USL, which is another pro soccer division. But when push came to shove, I was like, I don't know if I can travel every away game during MLS season because I need to be at the office. It was just me. And it didn't work out, but I did get season tickets. So those are pretty sweet. But yeah, you meet a lot of people through that organization. It's a great organization. Everyone there is cool. And the fun part is a lot of the people that I met through that encounter, they all work in like the Domain area, but a few of them actually do come down to East Riverside and do get adjusted. So it's nice to catch up with them too.
So I'd be curious if there was any other forms of like steady growth or marketing or building the practice that maybe surprised you? Because like some of the ones you mentioned, I think are most people would probably agree with. Of course, word of mouth is always going to be the backbone of a lot of it, and connecting with other providers and clinicians. The music one's interesting. That makes sense. That sounds like you're essentially tapping into an interest you already have and just like tapping into that community. Are there any other ones that maybe surprised you?
Let's see. We get a few teachers. Teachers are great because they go through a lot of stress, and then they can only come so often just because of the schedule and everything. I really did enjoy pre-COVID because Oracle is just down the street, and the tech bros and girls would come right around 4:30. So it was like an Oracle party at the office, and they're all amazing, amazing people. Post-COVID, everyone can work remote, which leads to other issues. And so the Oracle party doesn't happen anymore. But when they do come back, whether it's Oracle or other tech companies, the remote positional change of where you can work at home in a horrible setup. Posture gets worse. They come back because now they're suffering with right shoulder, left shoulder, getting headaches out of nowhere, when in the past they weren't, because they had to go to the office. And companies like Oracle, they have a really good ergonomical system with standing desks and everything. They have a great gym facility. But the remote change of society, I've seen a big change in like skeletal structure with X-ray. So the double-edged sword is they left, but they still do come back, because at the end of the day, you need to take care of your spine, because if you don't, nerve impingement can lead to inefficient, what am I looking for? Diminished productivity of the body. So then you have issues that, whether they show up now, they will show up later. So at the end of the day, they may disappear, but they will come back. And it's nice seeing them, but also, hey, you disappeared for a little bit. Now we got to start from ground one.
What made you decide to open a second clinic?
There was a lot of cases that I was getting from certain attorneys that the patient lived too far. Traffic's pretty bad here. Like cities like Dallas and Houston, like they actually have highways, not 2 or 3. They have multiple ways to get to certain locations. But up north, there was a need I saw. And one thing I wanted to tap into was kind of setting up offices along the 35 corridor, north, central, and maybe in the future we'll do a third one in the Kyle area or Buda, because that traffic is getting bad too. So people can't make it, because we used to have people that would drive from Cedar Park, Buda, Kyle, but even from Buda, some patients are like, yeah, you're just too far, it's traffic. So having a resource closer to them, they don't have to be stressed out with the traffic, with the life stresses that's going on. Just more availability to serve more people too.
Yeah, so you're adapting to the fact that people are already traveling a long way, so you're essentially just moving a clinic closer to them and tapping into the community.
Yeah.
What are the challenges that you've faced to be able to open that clinic, or even future clinics for that matter?
I think with any opening of a clinic, there's always the obstacles of going through city planning. You have to get the architect. That takes time. Getting approved by the city, that takes time. So when I was going to open the first one, I thought 6 months will be ready. Really, it was 9 months that we started construction. So that's when I was really burning through money. And that's when I had to, all right, I need to get a job. I should have listened to my mentor. Don't touch that money. Get a job first. But that, like I said, it led to a good experience with working at a company like The Joint, which is a completely different model than what I do. But there's a lot of good to be learned through different scenarios and different situations, so you can build off that as a foundation that will actually down the road help your business. So let's see, architect, you got to find a good architect, because that's a pretty penny. And then finding a good contractor, because there's some contractors that will promise you this and deliver something completely different. So a good contractor that can get the job done at the right time without burning through money. One issue I had, I used a contractor for the second office, and they gave me the initial cost for the full build out. And I was like, oh, sweet. Not as bad as I thought. 6 weeks later, because of inflation, that number went from $24,000 to $80,000. And I was like, where did this jump come from? Oh, the inflation, Biden administration, blah, blah, just sounded like excuse after excuse. It sounded like he was trying to money gouge me. I've had a patient that referred me to another guy who's a contractor, and he saw my situation. He's like, we can do it. So you got to be careful. You got to, see all the options you can. Don't just rely on one. Get 3 or 4 quotes and compare them. Because in every business, I believe there's good people and there's bad people. In my profession, there's no different. But have the options available, because you don't want to regret making the wrong decision, even though you had the time to make the right decision.
So when you opened the new location, did you essentially run the same playbook as the initial one, of literally just like getting in the community, networking, handing out business cards?
As best I could, yeah. We had a good relationship with some firms that had cases already, so we already had some patients waiting to be served. And then the next move is to go down the street to Dell, because Dell's just down the street from that office, and they have a big campus, just kind of how my office has Oracle down the street. But a lot of it's word of mouth. The doctor up there, she does a great job, and she does BNI, which is the Networking International, that I couldn't get in when I opened my office, but they didn't have a chiropractor at that chapter. So we've been doing BNI, getting involved with the community, meeting as many people as we can. Basically, yeah, same playbook.
Do you guys do any other forms of lead generation or client acquisition other than the local networking stuff?
At my office, we did Groupon for a little bit, and I had a strong opinion about Groupon when I was in school, just like I did with the joint franchise. That opinion completely changed because at the office, the first office, Groupon generated energy at the office. I got people in the door, and then I got creative with my joint working experience of how to convert 1 visit Groupons, 3 visit Groupons into a treatment plan. They saw the value, but at that time I didn't have X-ray at the first office, so it was just all similar to a joint model. So that experience at the joint helped me with getting patients to commit, have the right verbiage, be authentic. You're not selling something, you're delivering the truth, because they have an issue, you have the answer. But the Round Rock office, we still have Groupon up there. It's not, Round Rock, I've learned, is not as a Groupon heavy city as Austin is. It's more suburbish. Excuse me. But just getting them in the door, that's the first part. But you have to deliver on your truth. And if you are not solid in your purpose, that they see it from a mile away. I know I can help you. There's no shadow of doubt in my mind that I can't. I'm going to. We will get through this together. That's my attitude. And that's also Dr. Shar's attitude too.
So what's the playbook for Groupon then? So obviously Groupon gets them in the door, but then what? You're saying the X-ray shows them, essentially diagnoses them with the problem, and you allow them to make the decision? Like, what's the playbook?
So when I did the Groupon, I didn't have the X-ray, but you show them what's going on. You explain. You have vertebrae that protect the spinal cord. The spinal cord has nerve roots that go out to different parts of the body. If there's impingement or stress at the nerve, it's like when you step on a water hose when you're watering the garden. You can't water the garden if your foot's on it. Take the foot off, magic happens. Similar principle, very simple. But when I was doing it, it was a lot of neck pain, back pain. Well, we're going to move something in the right direction. Oh, I don't have the pain anymore. Yes, but if you stop, it's going to come back because you have stress on your body, whether it's micro, macro stress, sitting, standing too long, work, life, sitting in traffic. You're going to revert back to what brought you in here in the first place. So let's get this stable. Let's change the trajectory of your life. After we get some stability, let's do maintenance. Let's get you on the right path. It's just like, I've had quite a few people ask me, why do I need to keep coming back? It's like, well, stop brushing your teeth and only brush it when they start hurting. And they look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, it's maintenance. You got to take care of your body. If you want 6-pack abs, doing crunches once a week, not going to do much. You got to do core. You got to work out other muscles. We also got to change your nutrition because 6-pack abs are built in the kitchen.
So basically you're saying the Groupon gets them the door, but then you provide education about why they should continue to seek services to kind of keep them around.
Yeah, because most of the time they see the TikToks and the YouTube videos and like of the popping and it's more than that. It's restoring function that wasn't there. And
how many people have you hired throughout because you started in 2017? How many people have you hired since then?
Total?
Yeah.
Let's see. I think I've had maybe because there's a time where I had to have friends help me out for like random shifts because I couldn't find a hire quick enough. So I've had friends like help me out in the beginning because someone had to just quit out of the blue. But right now we have 5 working employees, including myself. And then over the years, I think I've gone through probably like 15 assistants.
Wow. What's the trick, I guess, to hiring or finding good talent or recruiting people?
You need to find a good person. I can train you what to do, but I can't train you how to be a good person. You got to be
a good person, like honest,
have morals,
sure.
Nurturing.
Got it.
Good energy. When you see them, do you feel, oh, or do you feel like,
Does introversion, extroversion matter?
Not necessarily. Because we've had quite a few introverts, and then you just, hey, when they walk through the door, raise your eyebrows. It forces you to smile. And I have to do it too because I'm very introvert, and no one believes me. But I think I became an extrovert because I had to go meet people, because this is the business.
Yeah, you can adapt.
You adapt, but because let's see, I'm not going to say it, but my facial expressions, people think I'm a mean person sometimes. So I have to raise my eyebrows, and that helps because it forces you. There you go.
That happened to me when I was an OT, actually. I had to get essentially coaching on, like even like head positioning. Like if you like have your like kind of head up or your like nose up, and that's just like your natural position, people think you're snooty. And just like having a more like level head and things of that nature. I was actually just telling my girlfriend about this the other day, is that I think it's always very helpful for people to define the behaviors that are required to have what one might call a skill. So for example, the example I like to use is charismatic. Most people want to be charismatic, or like your front desk person probably would want to be charismatic. That's not a useful way to say, like, don't tell somebody to be charismatic because that doesn't mean anything. But what you can say is exactly what you said, is raise your eyebrows, smile when somebody's talking, reflect back what they're saying to you, have a firm handshake. Like all those things can create the skill of charisma. But like you can train somebody on that, right? If you tell them the behaviors required to do that thing. I just think that's always way more helpful than like be charismatic.
Talk more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Laugh at their jokes.
Yeah.
No, when I was in school, my 2 best friends and I, well, there was Connie too. We would go shadow offices. And one of the things I took away that I still focus on, I hear it every day. I hear him say it. When you're talking to someone, you're eye to eye, nose to nose, shoulder to shoulder, heart to heart, spirit to spirit. You're engaged, and you give them that respect because they drove to see you. Don't disrespect them by looking around. And you need to be there for them because they depend on you.
It's good, especially considering I feel like I see so many, not to slam on any generation. Every generation has their thing, but like I would say the younger generation loves to have the ear pod in one ear. Like I can't tell you the number of times I've been to like Walmart or Target, and they have the ear pod in one ear. And it's like, I don't think they're doing it out of disrespect, but it does send a signal. It does send a signal that like you don't care.
It sets a weird tone.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Just respect your fellow human.
Yeah.
There's no reason to be disrespectful to anybody. But shoulder to shoulder, heart to heart, spirit to spirit, that was tattooed in my mind. When he said that, when you're in his office in Edmond, Oklahoma, you feel his office buzzing like a beehive. We were standing outside his office, we were students just observing. People would go in like pissed off, shoulders down. They'd be in there for 30 seconds, maybe a minute, minute and a half. Their posture's different. They're smiling too. And I'm just like, what the hell is this guy doing? He's good.
Cocaine, lots of cocaine. He's got tables of cocaine in there.
That would be an interesting office. Maybe we could do one in Cartagena. I don't know.
Yeah, as the cliche statement goes, is people don't remember what you say, but they remember how you make them feel. And everything you described is like making somebody feel special is like if I had to wrap it into a sentence, I think that's what it would be, is like, if you can make somebody feel special, whether it is, like you said, the heart to heart, the eye contact, the way you adjust, the way you put your hand, whatever it is, like if you make somebody feel special, they're going to remember that.
Yeah. Another one I learned, there's certain things you keep in your pockets when you're working. One's a tissue in case you get sweaty, a red pen, because if you have to write a quick note to your staff, and a cloth to clean glasses. I was like, what? And then he explains, like, people are driving to see, they're rushing out of work, they have to do all this, and sometimes their glasses are dirty, but they have to take them off when they go face down. When you sit them up, you take your cloth, clean their glasses, and give it to them. There you go. And I was like, that makes me feel special. I'm not wearing my glasses right now, but it's the little things that add up. And
have you ever heard or read the book Unreasonable Hospitality?
Is it the Ritz-Carlton one?
No, it's I can't think of his name right now, but he owned a restaurant out in New York called 11 Madison Park.
Oh, I know of the book. I haven't read the book yet.
Dude, gotta do it. It's so good. Highly recommend it.
The one with the Ritz-Carlton founder, that's a good one too. I think
Hospitality.
What's it called? It's gonna bug me.
I'll look it up. Yeah, be curious. The Unreasonable Hospitality one is like, I think about that one all the time. Like, there's just so many good stories and nuggets in there. My favorite one that they hit on is this idea of what's called the Dreamweaver. So they would hire people at the restaurant specifically to seek out like opportunities to provide just insane amounts of hospitality. Like, one of the examples that he gave is he noticed that this table was talking about they came to New York and they did all the amazing New York things, but the one thing they didn't get to do was they didn't get to eat a real New York hot dog.
Oh, no, I have heard this story. Yeah, it's a good one.
They heard it, so they went out to the street, they bought a hot dog, they plated it, and they brought it out to him, and they were just like, oh my God, like, that's so crazy. But
yeah, the Ritz-Carlton one's good. The one story I can remember, so each employee gets a per diem of, I think, $200 a day, only for serving the hotel guests, right? And it was one of the Ritz-Carltons somewhere in the Bahamas or Caribbean, and this guy lost his engagement ring in the sand, and his waiter found out about it, obviously. So the couple, they go home for the night, or to the room for the night. He gets all his other coworkers, they all get metal detectors, and they scour the whole beach. The next morning, they go to breakfast, the couple, there's the ring right there. I was like, that's red carpet. So I'm not going to probably buy a metal detector to find an engagement ring in my office, because I don't think that's a situation that would happen, but we try to deliver as close to that type of scenario as much as we can. And I love my staff because we have fun with the patients. They come in, they come out, but they feel like they're there for hours just because of the attention that we give them, the service that we give. When I open my door, there's Juan or Jesus right there guiding them into the traction table so they can finish their appointment. And it's just seamless. It just moves like water, in and out, and it generates that energy throughout the office too. And people feel it. People want to come back. I was joking with a patient yesterday. Ironically, that morning his aunt showed up, who's a realtor here in town. Then right before lunch, her sister, who was one of my original patients when I first opened, she shows up. And she lives in Cedar Creek. So she'll come like once a month, once every 2 weeks. And then the son shows up in the afternoon. I was like, dude, your whole family's been here. I just saw your aunt. It's like, oh, really? It's like, I think I see her more than you do. And that's what you actually do cultivate. You become part of their family. So it's fun. I mean, I wake up with a smile for sure. I may have a bad moment personal life, but what keeps me going is knowing there's an adventure waiting at the office. There's people that need help. And it's just the most gratifying job. It definitely fulfills a purpose. It keeps the heart warm for sure. And you just want to keep giving. It's an addiction.
What was your biggest week ever in the clinic, and what do you think led to that?
Biggest week, so we work Monday through Thursday. our record was 374 people in 4 days. That was really cool. And what I learned with my mentors too is the more people you see, you actually have more energy. When you see less people, you go home a little more tired. And that made no sense to me, but now I get it. That 374, yeah, a little tired. It can be a little exhausting, but I was alive because you see more life coming in, more uplifted. You're changing more people's lives. It's very. I'm not gonna say like no, I'm not gonna say that. It's like a drug, you know. You want more. You see the happiness. You want to keep it going. And then at that time, we were seeing it for sure 350 plus a week consistently for about a few months. And then that's when COVID kind of swept through the whole world. And we took a hit. We saw, I think, a drop of like 100 patients, 150 patients a week. So we had to get creative, but we're still able to serve. And ironically, there's some offices that closed, and those patients needed a chiropractor, and they came to our office. And we converted a few. Some don't live in Austin anymore. But it's just...
What do you think led to that 300 plus patient caseload? Like, what were you doing leading up to that? Was it just the snowball effect of just like continuing to network and see more people, and they would tell people, or like what factors played into that?
I think what I've also learned too is celebrate the little successes. And we would break this record or this record, and take the team and do like a team bonding to build morale. And we have fun. So everyone was having fun, having a good time, but then we'd go to work and we'd have a better time. And it just kept going. But every week we would break some kind of record. And it got to the point where one of my assistants was like, we broke that record too, didn't we? Like, yeah, we did. But just that momentum. And I think at that time I was working out more. I was resting more. Just the little things outside of the office.
What do you do for team building? What works well?
There's a really good restaurant right next door we used to go to all the time, and just like have a nice little dinner.
Just like after hours, like you go and have dinner? Yeah,
go have dinner, maybe a few drinks, talk about the office, talk about stuff outside the office. I've taken my assistant Jesus to Barcelona for a neurology seminar with Dr. Michael Hall. He was one of my professors. Genius guy. And then just traveling with them, I've taken the whole staff, both offices, to San Diego for a seminar. And we just have fun, let loose. We've done like Top Golf, we've done bowling, just things to decompress as best you can.
I heard one great one recently where he said that he would, anytime his staff would get together outside of work hours, he would give them the business card, because he knew, this is a fact, that the number one predictor of if somebody says if they're happy or not at work actually has nothing to do with like payment or anything like that, which is what most people think. It actually has to do with, do they have a friend at work? And so keeping the morale happy, or keeping the team happy by like letting them connect and network, whether it's over a drink or a dinner or whatever, is like super powerful. I just thought that was great. But
that is good. I'm curious to see what my staff would do with the business card.
Yeah,
I trust them. Yeah. They're great people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I haven't heard that one. That's good.
Where do you see things moving forward then? So you have 2 locations. It's you and another doctor. You seem to have a few administrative type people. Where are things going forward?
The Barcelona trip was real interesting because I met this doctor there, and long story short, he's from Washington, but he looks Spanish. He has no Spanish in his family, but he was telling me like, people here need help. And if you want to move to Barcelona, you just got to pass their legal test. Because your board examinations transfer over in Spain. And then in the past, I always wanted to do like a mission trip. Like set one up where we go to Brazil or somewhere in the Caribbean, because I did a mission trip in chiropractic school where I went to Haiti and the Dominican Republic. That was life-changing, because though a lot of the population need help and the closest doctor's hours away, and not all of them have mode of transportation, especially in Haiti. It's a little different than the United States for sure.
Yeah, I think it's like one of the poorest countries in the world.
Yes.
Yeah, a little different.
but they smile.
Yeah.
They raise them eyebrows even in the worst times.
Yeah.
But no, I always wanted to like set like a adjusting course. I have a good friend that does hand alchemy. He runs that, and just to see the growth that him and his team are doing with those seminars by teaching students things that they don't learn in school. Because I think in any trade of school, you learn enough to get through to get that documentation, but the real learning is outside. I'd love to set up a third office, probably down south, Buda, Kyle, even as far south as San Marcos, but probably stay closer towards the riverside. So like Buda, Kyle, I think would be a good location. Dallas, I could always visit family there. That'd be an easy one. I have even Houston area. Houston is massive, but someone asked me, why not in Houston? I was like, I didn't think about that, but never say never. So the options are limitless, but it's just about making sure it stays congruent with what we've built at Two Hands Chiropractic.
Well, I was going to say, thanks for that segue. What do you feel like you guys' differentiator? Like what makes you unique? I mean, in a town like Austin, I mean, there's a lot of clinics and there's a lot of other chiropractors and there's a lot of other places people could go. Like, why do people choose you guys?
I think just right when they walk in the door, the office smells great because we use essential oils, and I've used essential oils for years. It's helped with like mood. If I get a rash from poison ivy because I'm at the Greenbelt, there's an oil for that. When I was stressed out opening the office, I made like a concoction that would calm me down so I could actually go to sleep and not worry. But they come in, the place is welcoming. The staff is smiling. That energy's there. People are going in, coming out. You'll see little kids running around, babies, construction workers, tech bros, it's just a melting pot of demographics, so to speak. But what makes us different? I think everyone at our office, whether it's the assistant or myself, we generally do care. We want you there. We want you to get better. There's no reason to be miserable and in pain. We want the best for you. And people see that. People feel that. If someone's leaving my office and I shut the door, I face them. And in my office, I have a see-through glass so they can see out, but no one can see in. And they'll start seeing people line up. My back's to them. I'm facing you. What's up? What's going on? I have this. Okay. Let's solve it together. You ready? All right, let me check it one more time. Stuff like that. Just that red carpet treatment that we were talking about earlier.
Bringing the care back to healthcare. Yeah, you're definitely gonna have to read the Unreasonable Hospitality book if that is a huge emphasis.
I'm gonna tell you how it is.
Last question. Before I ask that last question though, where can people find you? What's your plug?
So we're on Instagram, 2 Hands Chiropractic _ATX. We have a Facebook, just 2 Hands Chiropractic, and then the website's just www.twohandschiropractic.com. But you have to do the www for whatever reason. If you don't, it just like has an error of some sort.
Dude, we should talk. That's a domain issue.
Okay.
Yeah, that can be fixed.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Because it's annoying.
Yeah. Those should both work. If not, that's a domain issue. But last question. So what's it going to take to go from 2 clinics to 3 clinics? So if you were mentoring yourself or giving advice to somebody else that was maybe in that same circumstance of wanting to go from 2 to 3, what would you tell them? Or what's your advice? Or what do you think it's going to take?
One, for us to go from 2 to 3, location for sure. Again, Austin's an interesting city. And I know Buda, Kyle, and all the neighboring towns and cities are a little different too. But just finding the right location, ease of access. You don't want to walk into a building, hit the elevator, go to the 8th floor, walk down the hall to the right, and we're the last on the left because they're already hurting. So what's good about both offices is you can get off 35, exit Riverside. When you see the Amalie apartment complex, first left, we're right there at the corner. We got 5 reserved spots, so you're probably going to be able to park, get in and get out. Round Rock's a little different. They're right off Gaddis School Road. They get in, plenty of parking there. Actually more than the Amalie, to be honest. But we're on the first floor. There's a walk ramp for handicap accessible, but also it's an easy little walk. They get in, they get out. So ease of access of location. Let's see. Really finding the right spot, because you want an office, for at least the model that we run, 600 to 1,200 square feet is ideal. You can do a shotgun style or a square. Shotgun meaning just rectangle. That's generally every suite. And just ease of access, you want to be visible. So was one of the headaches when I opened, because Radio Shack was first, and then they bought out the back 400 square feet of my unit. So I technically don't own the wall where my sign is, and I had to negotiate that, and that was a fun time. But that visibility, Riverside, I learned through my research, is one of the busiest streets in the nation because of the airport. If 35 is looking bad, people go through Riverside. So there's, I forgot the number, but it's in the millions annually, drive right by. Yeah, the visibility, you want to be good location. But you can honestly set up an office anywhere. Gonstead built a airport in Wisconsin, and he was out almost, I think he was in a city, I can't remember exactly, but he was having people fly into a private airstrip, and his office is right there. It's one of the techniques that you do in chiropractic, Gonstead. It's like a seated technique.
Interesting. Yeah, it's crazy how big of a difference the ease of access comes down to. It makes me think of why, like on South Congress, like a major street here in Austin, is why so many of these like big companies pay to have a building there. It's not because they're making money from the sales in those buildings. It's literally just because there's so much traffic, foot and driven traffic. People see it, they recognize it, then they're more likely to buy. It's like Amazon having, so back home in Minnesota, there's an actual Amazon store in the Mall of America. And they sell things there, but they're not making money by selling things in the Mall of America.
It's just the foot traffic.
Yeah, it's just branding. It's literally like people walk by it because millions and millions of people go to the Mall of America. And
wow.
So it just makes me think of like how important that piece of it is, like ease of access, people driving, walking by, foot traffic, etc.
Yeah, and actually one of the units I was looking at before I opened the first office was the suite right above Perla's. I was like, that's cool. Where's the parking? And the parking, you already got to reverse in the parking garage. You got to park, go down, go up the stairs. I mean, the suite was pretty cool. They looked at the realtor and I like, what are y'all doing here? We're busy working. I was like, I don't think they know they're about to get gone. But hi. But for how cool the location and the foot traffic, that area wouldn't work so much because it's more tourism foot traffic too.
Fair.
And you got to go up the stairs, downstairs, parking. It's a headache. That's why parking spots helps. Ease of access is definitely key because you don't want to walk too far with a migraine headache or a sciatica, which is generally one of the more common things, headaches or just back pain in general. You want them to just get out of the car, get in the office, get what they're looking for, help them off the table. They walk back to their car, get on with life. Ease of access. We want to make life easier for people. And that's the big takeaway I've learned over the years too. Just help someone.